Hope you could see already the slide on the topic on value proposition. So as a review last meeting, we have discussed the first three of the 9 elements in a business model. So the first three are of course, we have the partners, so the key partners. Then we have the activities. And the last one that we've discussed are the resources, which could either be in the form of physical resources, the intellectual resources, the human resource, and the financial resources. Now for this afternoon, we will finish the rest of the 9 elements and we'll start with the value proposition. So when we speak of value, what is something in what you are proposing or you intend to sell that is so different than the existing, or what makes it different or unique from what is already existing. So what's compelling about it, what you are proposing, whether it's a product, a new product, or a product with a new innovation, or maybe it's in the form of a service. So what's compelling about your proposition? Next is, why should your customer, your target customer, buy it or use it? So when we speak of value proposition, so it's something that refers to the value a company promises to deliver to its customers should they choose to buy their product or should they choose to avail of their service. Now, a value proposition is also a declaration of intent. Intent to serve, if it's service, intent to offer something new, something different, something unique, something far better than what is existing. A declaration of intent or a statement that introduces a company's brand to customers by telling them what the company stands for, how it will operate, and why it deserves their business, or why it deserves that they should try it or they should avail of it. Okay, they should try it if it's a product, they should avail of it if it's in a form of service. So that's the value proposition. You propose something to your target market that is far better than the existing. Now, here are some common value propositions. So it could be, of course, on top of the list, it's something novel, something new, something non-existing, or something that is a modified, better version of what is already existing, or something that offers high performance. So if an existing technology only have a certain yield of, let's say, 90%, maybe yours could be 95% or 99%. So that's high performance, the offer of high performance. Now, ability to customize. Now, millennials like you or the current generation would love to have something that they can customize. If they buy something, they could pattern it into something that would reflect their own personality, their own unique person. So something that they could customize. Something to do with customize is, of course, what's something different, what's a come on it in terms of design. So actually, the existing products in the market, tangible products that is, even the design, let's say, for example, of services like spa, actually, they have all something in common. They want to offer something that would be relaxing to their would-be customers. But a lot of these spa are proliferating because one spa would offer something different from another. Okay, so that's something to do with the design of the facility itself. Or if it's a product, then the model is different. It offers something new, something better than the existing. Okay, now there are target markets who are into the brand or the status that goes with the brand. Say, for example, BMW. If I am an owner of a BMW, it tells something of me, of my status in society. If I own an iPhone, whatever is the highest model now, what's the most recent model of iPhone, that tells of what I'm capable of buying. Or it tells, of course, of my status, something like that. So there are target markets that are into it, not into high performance, although most of the time class, the cost translates to performance. I have observed that if you buy something that is cheap, of course, don't expect that it would last longer but it will perform better than the one that is costly. Uh, Most of the time, the cost translates to performance and the life, of course, of the thing that is being used, of that tangible thing that is being used. Even in service, uh, most of the time, the costly service, of course, will be far better than those that are not that costly. Although sometimes others are not that, in terms of service, others are not already, shall I say, practical. But there are still segments of customers that would prefer that even if it's not practical, as long as they get to enjoy, as long as they get to relax. Okay? Then of course the price. Some people buy it for the price. They are not concerned with the price. Or some majority, if in case of the third world country like the Philippines, maybe majority would look into how much would be the reduction in the cost of this new product, of this new service. How much do they get to save if they avail of it, if they buy it? Risk reduction. If I buy this particular automobile with an inflatable badge system during collisions, then I'm more likely to be safe during collisions than this one that does not have one. I don't care if I pay 150,000 more or 100,000 or 50,000 more than the standard model because I intend to be safer when I'm in the road. So that's something to do with risk reduction. And in terms of service, of course, the convenience of use and even gadgets. So what's so convenient about this robot vacuum cleaner? Okay, I only need to set it up for a particular space that I need to clean. Then I'm off to go whatever I need to do for the rest of the area in my house. For example, if I'm living in the western part of the globe, uh, only the filthy rich can avail of, shall I say, helpers. We call them helpers in the Philippines. But everything there, if you're just a middle class citizen, you have to have two jobs so that you can afford your amortization in the for the house, amortization for your car, schooling of your children. Of course, they are convenient because they all have those gadgets, but they have to work hard for that also. They have to, let's say, have three jobs or two jobs, the least. That way they can have those, they can enjoy those convenience. So other people doesn't mind having to work hard as long as at the end of the day, when they get to rest, or it will, shall I say, be more convenient to them to work simultaneously two jobs at the same time because something has to do things for them. Like in the case of a robot, vacuum cleaner robot. So they don't need to do hands-on on that thing. They can do their online selling or their online marketing, and the robot tends to do the cleaning of the floors of the house or something like that. So that's a value proposition, something to do with convenience. Some people are okay with having to pay more for that as long as they can get accomplished, let's say, 3 tasks at a time or 2 tasks at a time. So multitasking that is. So these are just some. Maybe there are still other value propositions that you can research on and read on other references that you can add to this list that I have shared with you. Okay? Now we go to customer relationships. So we already know the value that we're proposing if we're the one who's making the model. So we know already the thing that we're going to propose to our segment. So we need to keep our customer happy. So how do we interact with our customer? So when we sell something to them or when we offer something to our customer, if it's a service, it's not just a one-shot deal. It has to be something continuing. So it's a journey. It's something that grows. So some literature would say it's something that grows with the customer. The service that you're offering, the thing that the product that you're offering to your would-be customer is something that is dynamic, ever changing. Also, because your customer is also changing, the needs of your customer also changes. So you journey with them in their needs, and that's how a particular business keep what they're doing, keep their customers, or that's how they have loyal customers because they journey with their customers, with the ever-changing need of their customers. So good customer relationships are based on customer experience. It's always this customer experience that we intend to keep. If we want our business to succeed, to be sustainable, so we need to have our customers experience something that is, let's say, a rate of 1 to 5, 5 being the best experience, then it should be a 5. So what's it like for people to do business with you? If you're doing the business, it's also about how you exceed customers' expectation. There are companies that really have this research, that the research team that goes on researching, they're paid for that, on how to even exceed what their customers expects from them in terms of what they deliver. Okay? Now, customer relationship has 3 benefits. So these 3 benefits are customer retention. So if we journey with our customer, if we keep them happy, we get to retain them. Another one is customer loyalty. They become loyal to the business. And customer satisfaction. Sometimes it's not about the cost, but it's how we keep them satisfied, or how we keep them happy, how we keep them to enjoy what they are availing from us, whether it's product or service. Then we go to channels. So we propose a value, something of value to our customer, but it has to reach them. So it does not it does not give us revenue. It does not benefit anybody unless we have these channels. So how are our value propositions promoted? How are we selling our products? How are we delivering our goods and services? Why do we use this particular way of delivering our goods and services? Why do we use these channels? Why do we use this promoter? Or why we use this advertiser? Or why do we keep them, these advertisers or marketers, even though we get to pay so much to them? Is it working? Does the customer like the manner in which we get to reach through them, to them using these particular channels? So the channel building block describes how a company communicates with and reaches its customer segments to deliver its value proposition. Your value needs to be delivered, and the means of delivering it is these channels. It is important to understand which pathway or which channel is best for your company to reach your customers. Okay, and then let's look as to the phases of a distribution channel. How many phases does a particular distribution channel has? So one, or the first phase actually, is the awareness phase. Now in business, you need to think of ideas and how to reach out to your customers to introduce the company's products and services. And this will enable your customers to have knowledge and ideas about the use of the products and the benefits as well that goes with it. Okay, so you could see here just some of how we get to make our target customer, the segment of the customer, reach. So what you have here on the left side, what do you think is being used in here for this one? What particular tool is being used in the first picture that you see on the left? This one. It's this. Just, okay, somebody already wrote in the chat box. The use of email. Okay, I'd like to circle it. Maybe probably you can see. This one, I'm referring to this. This one, what is being used here? Making your target customer aware that you exist. Correct. Thank you. Very good. Earl, these are the use of flyers. You can have flyers to make your target customer know what you are offering. So this is a flyer that you have here. The one below it, this one, I think this is forthcoming. What is this? The use of, it's there. What do you have here in the lower left corner? Below the slide? What particular tool is being used in here? Okay, the use of the TV commercials. Correct. Very good. So you use TV commercials to keep your to make the public know what you are offering, the services that you are you are offering to them, not using. What about this? What do you see there? This is common, very common now. What tool is this? We have Facebook. Facebook is what? Okay, are you still there? Do I only have a few students here? Okay, social media. Very good. So this is social media. Facebook, okay? A free online marketing tool. Facebook, social media. Okay, this one you have here. What about this tool here on the upper right, which I have circled? What you have there? That's this one, upper right. This is okay, the newspaper. Advertising to the newspaper or tabloids. What about this? Are you hungry? This one. Are you hungry? What is this? The use of this one in orange. The use of muling common sa TV. The use of commercials. Commercials on TV. Okay, are you hungry? Something like that. Okay, somebody's wrote a while ago about word of mouth. So you can see here. One of the best marketing tool is the word of mouth, because you have actual proof that somebody who used your product or availed of your service is very satisfied. So that's how you make the public aware of your existence in the market and what you are offering. Okay, so these are just but examples. In here, you can have varied forms of advertising. You can even have billboards. The use of billboards. It's not so common here in Bacolod, but it's starting to be common now. But billboards can also be used as a way of making the population aware of the product or service. Okay, so that's the phases of the distribution channel. Now in here, that's just the first phase. The second phase is the evaluation. I think you know what's this. Okay, it's if you evaluate, you need to evaluate, and it's something that is perpetual and continuous as long as you are continually in business, or as you continue to be in business. So before indulging into the process of mass producing your product and finalizing the concept of the service that you're offering, you can offer to your, it is a great plan for you to first conduct an evaluation so that the company will be able to assess the organization's value proposition. So is the value that you propose to the target market acceptable? Does it need to be modified according to their needs? So then this can be done through the form of survey. So this one is a survey. Okay. How would you rate your experience with our product? So this is a survey. Or you can conduct one-on-one interviews, or we can have reviews. So in Lazada, in Shopee, they have these reviews about the products that they are selling. So each of them, shall I say, the sellers there in, let's say, Lazada or Shopee have this particular rating tool. We rate what we buy from them, and from there on, the next set of buyers, of those that would be interested in buying, would see whether the products are really good or not. Okay, so that's the second phase, the evaluation. The third phase, go to the third phase, and that's the purchase. So nowadays, there are customers that are using online shopping, a lot of that, including myself, would rather go online, whether it's Lazada, Shopee, Amazon, or eBay. Now, in online shopping, there are options for customers on how to purchase the product. Now, it could be on a self-checkout scheme, or Even in the manner that they pay, they get to choose. Can it be on credit cards or debit cards? Can it be on COD, cash on delivery, and other ways of payments or modes of payment? Even in Facebook, if they sell online, you can pay them through GCash or whatever form the seller would have options for you to choose from. So your manner of purchasing now has several options. So these are depending on the convenience that the customer would want after they have already purchased the product. So after the third phase, we have, of course, the delivery. So you purchase, then we have the delivery. So one value proposition to customers is the convenience and faster delivery of products. So without having to go out of our homes, that will be a lot safer. So we get to choose the way we get to get our the thing that we bought from the, let's say, from the seller. So it could be something that is just over the counter, like most medicines are, though we also have Grab to do that for us. We can have Grab do that for us. Or we can have something delivered to us right next to our doorstep. So that's delivery. So most of the online sellers now have options for door-to-door delivery. So it's at cost. So you have to pay the product plus, of course, the delivery fee. But still, it's convenient. So depending on the customer on how he or she wants the product to reach him or her. Okay. Then of course, the last phase, but of course it's very important, is the after sales. As we say a while ago, getting the customers is not a one-shot deal. It has to be a journey. It has to be a continuing thing that we get to keep them and we get to have their loyalty towards the product and the services that we offer. So after sales. So how will the company provide post-purchase customer support? Okay, the after sales is where customers claims warranty in buying the products or in using the services. This is one factor that is significant to customers where they can be assisted. Okay, the assistance can be in the form of call center. So we get to call a particular hotline so that we get to be assisted on how we go about using our, if we have a problem with our internet, how do we get to report any internet connectivity issues that we have. Or if we have a problem with our cable system, we can call a particular hotline and ask for a service crew or serviceman to go into our residence to have it fixed. Something like that. So that's after sales. It can even be in the form of something that is returned. You return the goods because it's not what you expected it to be. You thought it's like this, but it's not like that, or it has some, shall I say, may guba siya, or hindi siya ga-work. So you return it, and then of course they have to pay you back what you paid them. So that's the return policy. Majority of the sellers now, especially online, even non-online sellers will give you a grace period of 7 days for you to return any product that you bought from them that is not working. Now, in the case of those plantitos and plantitas who likes to plant, who are into planting, there are even now sellers online that would teach you the kind of soil that is best suited for the plant that you bought. How often would you water your plant? What sunlight does it need? Is it filtered sun? Is it direct sun? Or it has to be indoors? It cannot be exposed outside. You need only to water it once a week, or else it will rot or something like that. So those are after sales, shall I say, services. So it's not only limited to gadgets, technologies, or even subscriptions to, let's say, Netflix or cable or PLDT or something like that. So even when you buy plants, they will teach you how you take care of the plant that you bought from them. And that's really very good because they get to keep you because you know that if you have any problem, you can just easily call them and you will have the assistance that you need. One day you bought this plant, very costly plant, and then the next day you see that one of the leaf is turning yellow already. So you panic, so you have to call somebody. You need to call somebody from that particular garden to ask what's wrong with this. That way you get to save what you bought, or else your money goes down the drain. So that's after sales service. It does not end when they get your money, when the business gets your money, but it has to be a continuing thing. Now, that's the channels. We've started with the channels, I think, and the value proposition. Now we go to the next would be the customers. They don't exist without the customers. So who are your customers? What do they think? What do they see? What do they feel? What do they do? Okay. So in here, we got to think of segment dimensions in terms of our customer, segment composition, and their problems, needs, habits, and current alternatives. So we go first to the segment dimensions. So do you have a single or multi-sided market? Is your market just one-sided? You just want young ones, or you want the professionals, the young professionals, or you want the senior citizen or something like that, or you want that it will be able as much as possible to cater all without any limitation as to the age bracket of those who wish to avail of your product or service. That has something to do with your segment dimension. If you have a multi-sided market, you'll have at least as many segments as you have sides. So one example here is the multi-sided market, the CNN. So wherein they have the readers on one side, or those that watch the news, and the other ones are their advertisers. So their advertisers. So these are their customers as well. Their customers are those that listen to the news, read the news, and those that advertise on them. They won't exist without their advertisers, of course. So this will function, this kind of multi-sided marketing functions effectively to both the traditional, those who will just simply listen to the news, and those that are technology savvy customers. Even customers who are into looking for the next getaway destination. CNN has those advertisements. Okay, especially in CNN International. So if you are the one who loves to travel, while listening to the news, you get to be briefed what is the new travel destination to look forward to, depending, of course, on your preference. That is. Okay, now the other one is segment composition. So should you be able to visualize the individual customer types as personas. As for an instance, what kind of clothes that most of your buyers want? What kind of gadgets are they interested with? So you should understand what they think, they see, feel, and do with your product. So all of this, of course, can be known if you have, again, the evaluation. A continuous evaluation of how your product is satisfying your customer. Then, of course, the problems, the needs, the habits, and the current alternatives. What job are you doing for your customer? What problem are you answering? So what need are you fulfilling? Now, make sure that you know what your customers really want and need at the same time. And identify several choices or alternatives that your customer uses today. In this sense, you have to make a market research where you can talk to people and hear what's their interest. So if you need not do this face-to-face, this market research, or you really have people going on foot and really talking to people as well, you can have still you go back to the paper type of survey. You can have a survey done this for you. Okay, the end goal is to keep the customers satisfied. Okay, second to the last of the 9 is the revenues. How do you keep the money flowing in? If there's no money flowing in, then there's no point of making business. So how does the business earn revenue? From the value proposition. So this revenue can be defined as the amount of money that is brought into a company through its various business activities. So it could be something to do with the sale of the products and services. Now, you should have a revenue stream, which is the building block presenting the cash a company generates from each customer segment. So most businesses needs at least one great revenue stream to earn money, or a main revenue stream where money steadily is coming into the company. Now I have pictures here. I'd like to ask you, what do you think are these ways of earning revenues for several businesses that is really very common nowadays? So the common one is what you see here on the right side. What do you think is this revenue stream? What do we call this revenue stream? This one? What do we call this revenue stream? How is the revenue coming in to the business in this case? Only one volunteer. See. Sale, correct. So this is common, the sale of the actual products or goods. So the sale of products and goods. What about this one? The app. What do you think is the main revenue stream for this business? The revenue stream in here is what? When you avail of the app, what do you do? Okay, you have subscriptions. Very good, Sarah. So subscriptions. So when you avail of an app, you get to pay subscription fees, like monthly, yearly, annual, or something like that. Most of the time, it's monthly. Okay, but sometimes those that are offering annual fees, you can save with those rather than the monthly subscription fee. So the revenue stream in this second example is subscription fees. What about this one? The house with the key. What's the main revenue stream for this business? What do you think is the revenue stream here? We have the, okay, Giselle, correct. You have either renting or leasing. Rent to own or leasing, having something on lease. So the revenue stream of this is in probably for those businesses who are into real estate. So they are into leasing properties, renting properties. Okay? What about this one on top with the peso? What do you think is the revenue stream here? It's into stocks or brokerage. It could be brokerage, it could be stocks. Trading, correct, pwede man. Stocks, trading, brokerage. So that could be a revenue stream for this particular business. What about this? This one here on the upper right. How does the company here or the business company earn? What is the revenue stream for this company? Can you see it? Okay, somebody is renting. We have already renting here. What do you think about this? What was done in here? Usually, when we speak of rent class, it has something to do with the use of at least a month. Kung magrenta, kagani isubong, di ba? 1 month deposit, na 1 month advance, something like that. So, may minimum ka nga time na renta, nga gamiton mo na siya. The same thing with leasing. They have this contract. So, this one, what is this? What do you think is this? Organizing, planning. Okay, sige. Pwede sa picture na ginbutang ko. So in this case, the revenue stream could be base into ano siya, ng events organizing, planning, something like that. But my main intention in putting up this picture is into the use of the facility. You use a facility for an hour, for 3 hours, for 4 hours, so usage na siya of a facility. The fee for using a function room, a resort for the wedding, okay, for the debut or something like that. Okay, now the last, I think this is easy. What do you think is this? What's the revenue stream in here? This is advertising. Correct. Correct. So advertising, the main revenue stream for this company is due to advertising. So these are just examples of how revenue streams are generated by a particular company doing business. There's still a lot that I haven't placed in here. Okay? Now, let me clear my markings. And then we have here the last but not the least, the cost. Of course, we need to balance our cost with the thing that we earn. If we have a business, the cost should be less than what the earnings are, or what would be the would-be revenue. Okay, so cost structures defines all the costs and expenses that your company will incur while operating your business model. This is the final step in the process, and it's important because it helps your team decide whether you maintain status quo, you pivot, or you proceed to expand. So there are two main categories of cost structure. So it could either be value driven. So is your cost because of the value, or is it because of the cost itself? So there are customers that would buy your product because of its cost, not for the value, although it's translated already to value. So the focus of value-driven cost structure is to create more value in the product itself, not necessarily producing the product at the lowest possible cost. So they are more into value. So examples of this would be like Michael Kors, Louis Vuitton, Rolex. Una sila yung mga produkto, they are value-driven. Even if one only get to acquire one, which is millions already, doesn't matter because they are more into value. Louis Vuitton, for that matter. Okay. Now, on the other hand, those that are cost-driven are structures which are focused on minimizing the cost. Okay. So examples would be, of course, airline companies. So Cebu Pacific and CDR King. So they actually, when they created the business, they already have their target market in mind. So since their target market are more on the lower earning bracket individuals, so of course they are cost-driven. Pwede man na nga ang cost-driven, niya gusto mong pamahal-mahal ka, which can be translated to the, as I've said a while ago, to the value of the product that you are offering. So it really is dependent on the one that created in the first place, the value. So is it value driven? Doesn't matter whether it will cost very high or it will have high cost, or is it cost driven in the sense that as much as possible we'd like it offered in the least value that we could still earn. That way we can cater to the market that we want to cater. Okay, so this is the end of our module 3 on business models. Do you have any questions? I'll share to you your activity in Canvas, and I'd like to discuss things concerning your activity. That way you will understand how will you do it. Any question? If there's none, let me check where is mine. Let me first open your Canvas. Let's stop sharing.